I've decided this morning to come out into this beautiful, glorious sunshine to do my monologue. It's just so rewarding when you've got the chance to get out. I've been so busy trying to answer the emails, I know, and catching up with everything. Somebody alerted me to this universal income that they're trialling. I think they're trialling in the couple of counties. Now, I may have got that wrong, and if I have got that wrong, then I apologise, of course. It's somewhat worrying to me that you would have a kind and benevolent government, that you would have a situation in which you were giving people money to help them get on in life. Now, I know that sounds, on the face of it, very odd, because we want to be able to give people money who need it. But I think the plan with the universal income is that there would be this base level of money that everyone would get. So in other words, even if you were rich, even if you were moderately well off, or, of course, down and out poor, you would get an income. That seems a bit strange. Now, whilst I'm not really into means testing, because I think the way they do that is quite invasive, I think that when you start just giving everybody something for nothing, we take advantage of it. Let me tell you, I used to live in a place called Petworth, and there was this beautiful house, there still is, Petworth House. When I was living there for 2 years, I took the place for granted. I never actually went there. I thought, oh, I can go there any old time. I don't need to go there today. And people would come over and say, oh, should we go to Petworth House? Oh, we could go there any time. And in the end, all the time I lived in Petworth, I never went to Petworth House. We take things for granted when we've got access to them all the time. For example, water. We take that for granted. We don't give it a second thought that actually the water might contain a whole load of stuff that's not necessarily good for us, and perhaps we should filter it. We never imagine that water will run out. It drops down from the sky, for goodness sake. If you start giving people money that they haven't earned in any way, and yet they're still asked to pay taxes, aren't you just giving with one hand and taking away with another? What happens to the incentive for people to get out of bed in the morning and get up and go to work? Life is hard. It's not a fairy story. There are some amazing and wonderful things in life which, again, we take for granted. Fresh air, water, as I mentioned, the countryside, going out for walks, seeing a sunrise, all that kind of stuff. And yet, if you were put a price on it, you would think that's outrageous. I just worry that with a universal income, giving everybody a small amount of money every month, that the incentive to get up and improve yourself will disappear. When you're hungry, you work harder. Let me put it like this. There are comedians that you see on mainstream media. And I always think it's funny, once they become very established, they become actually less funny. And the reason I say that is because they don't have to try so much. They're being paid lots of money, they appear on the mainstream media, and they rely very much on their catchphrases. Those comedians, those comics who travel up and down the countryside, who are not well known, they have to work really hard. They really have to hone their skills. People don't know who they are. They can't rely on their celebrity status. And so, because they're hungry, the need to succeed, the need to earn money and the need to feed themselves, they work at their best. And I believe, although that sounds really strange, I believe having goals, having achievements and aiming for things and striving, I believe is a good thing for the human psyche. Whereas if you just keep paying people to do nothing, you're knocking out the incentive of people to better themselves. At the moment, we live in a world in which there is so much dumbing down. Mainstream media is very happy to dumb down things on the box. School is dumbing down stuff for children and, of course, giving children inappropriate lessons for their age range. So we've got to fight back against this sort of thing. We've got to take back that responsibility for ourselves. I know I keep harping on about this, but the more we defer our rights, our needs to a government or a council or to anybody else, we remain as children. It's children who are given pocket money by their parents. It's children who are given sweets and incentives to get out of bed and to do things. It's adults who have that sense of what is right and get out of bed and aim for things and strive. We are, after all, adults. We don't need to defer everything to a government. And that's where I think the universal income is a somewhat insidious thing. Oh, it sounds great, free money. But where is it coming from? We know that the banks and indeed the government have the printing presses and can magic money out of nowhere. I've been talking to people on my channel about that. But where does it really come from? And if there's too much money in the system, doesn't that cause inflation and put the prices up? So even though they're dishing you out free money, the prices are just going to escalate, aren't they? I'd be very interested in your thoughts on my thoughts about the universal income. And how do we make people aware that what glitters may not necessarily be gold?